Welcome to Between Both Cheeks, the podcast where we talk business, beauty, and butts. We'll be stripping down the aesthetics industry, whether you're here for spicy beauty tips, savvy business advice, or just a little banter. We've got you covered from front to back. So pull up a cheek and get ready to discover what happens between both cheeks.
Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to the BBC. I lost my voice in Thailand, like literally. So bear with me. We have our entire headquarters on this podcast, and hopefully moving forward, all of us will be on it. And we've decided to shift gears a little bit this year and spice things up on this podcast. So opening up the new year, we are going to talk about, do you fake an orgasm?
Yeah.
No, not yeah, Robin.
Do you fake an orgasm? Let's just get straight to the point.
We're talking about why you would fake the fake one. So men should listen. Like why you would have to fake one. So men need to know.
Why? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you ever have to fake one?
Let's go around first. Let's ask. So Rachel, what do you think?
Yep. About fake. Okay. I think you shouldn't have to. I did it in my early 20s to try to please the guy I was with. And you know what? No. You're not living in your truth, and you don't have to do that, because if you're not going to get to a place of pure pleasure when you give someone your body, then they need to know that so that they can, one, you guys communicate. They ask you, hey, what is it going to take? How are you feeling? Can I do this differently? So I think it's all the best sexual experiences are when you're honest with yourself and with your partner. I think.
So good. You need to give sex advice. That's very good. You're like a
Hey,
sex therapist.
let's do it.
Okay, Robin.
Yeah.
We're making 2025 spicy. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in my early 20s, yes, with people that I had dated, I did, but I think that it came from a place of low self-esteem and maybe not really knowing what to do in that situation, because like we were saying, it's a very vulnerable state that you're in. But being older and wiser now, yeah, absolutely not. You shouldn't do that. And I think that a man or whoever, you're having this encounter with, they deserve to know the truth. You deserve to not put yourself through something like that. And they deserve to know the truth. And if it's not working and you're not vibing, then you need to stop, because that part of you is such a sacred part of you. And it's one of the big things that, especially coming from a point of marriage and being married and with, my husband for so long as I have been, I will say that one of the things with him is the difference of the way that he treated me in those situations, and even continues to do so with, making sure that I'm taken care of and loving me and making me feel beautiful. So at the end of the day, did you fake an orgasm? No, you shouldn't, because you shouldn't even be spending time with somebody that's not even making you feel like the beautiful human creature that you are.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Erin?
It's a group effort, and if the common goal is not common, I'm out.
How big is the group?
The group is 2. It's 2. I mean, hey, maybe more, depending what you're into. It's common though. When I was younger, I would. Maybe that was because I was inexperienced and, thought that, oh, maybe I should have. But, looking back now at 36, I'm like, no, I'm not faking that shit. And if you're done before me, then there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
No, I refuse. I will not. No, I'm not here to boost somebody's ego that can't do that for me. So no, I do not.
Yeah, you should never suppress yourself for the sake of somebody else. And
No.
there you go. Ever.
Good
Ever.
point, Robin. Great point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Luba, how about you?
So interesting, because listening to all of your guys' stories, I heard a lot of like in my 20s. I never faked an orgasm in my 20s. Never. I did in a previous relationship when I knew that I was out. And I felt that I had to, like, this was my role as his partner, but I was already on my way out. So like, I wasn't there mentally or physically, or I had to be there. I felt like I had to be there physically, but I wasn't there mentally because I was already out the door. But most recently, I did fake an orgasm to get out of a situation because the sex was so bad. And I remember homeboy texted me the next day being like, hey, do you want to get together again? And I was like, fuck no, like, absolutely not. So I told one of my girlfriends, because I was like, I had to go home and finish the job myself. Like, this is not good. But I told one of my girlfriends, I was like, it was so bad, I just faked it to like get out. And she's like, why would you do that? And I was like, because I just wanted like out. Like, I was just like, I want out of this situation. And she goes, but he texted you the next day, and what you did for him was you told him that he had a good performance.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge click for me on, like, he was like, yeah, I did a great job and we're going to do this again. And now he's maybe confused on why I was like, no, not interested. Like, well, what was the problem? So yes, I regret it now, in the sense, I think I would much rather just would have been like, this is just not working for me. Like, thanks, but no thanks, and done. So yes, we'll never do that again. And we'll never cheat myself.
Truth and
again.
honesty. I mean, being open and honest, because now you're reflecting, you're like, oh, I much would have rather said no. And when you think about it in the moment, like, no can be the complete sentence. Nah, this is not working. And we're done. So why do we feel like we owe them? Like, all three of us were like, oh, in our 20s, yeah, we did, but we won't now. Luba's like, well, I never did then, but I just did recently. And it's like, why do we feel like
right? Like, what I'm supposed to be like.
we owe it to ourselves to make sure we get there and we get taken care of.
There's no shame in telling your partner either, you know, try this or try that, or be gentle here or be firm here. You know, there's no shame in communicating with your partner, like what you like and don't like, or what it's going to take to get you there. Yeah. The point is for you to enjoy yourself and for them to enjoy themselves. So
yeah. Well, and communication in that aspect is a really big part of that too. I mean, a really big part of the experience as a whole is communicating and verbalizing, you know, what you want and, you know, and such.
And I think you oh my God, I can't even talk. What is the verbiage I want to use right now? You hit the nail on the head. But like, who is your partner, and are you comfortable having those conversations?
Right.
Like, obviously I was not comfortable having the conversation. I was like, just get me the fuck out of here. I am done. This is horrific. Right. So he wasn't even like in tune with me and my body, who could feel my energy of like, okay, why isn't this like working here?
You know, and because we were talking about back in our 20s, a thought that came up that I wanted to bring up. If anybody who is in their 20s listening to this, and I think that, you know, you feel vulnerable, don't feel like you should feel vulnerable. You need to know your power, and you need to understand yourself and that power that you have. And understandably, if you're in a situation where you don't feel safe, that's a different situation. But you shouldn't ever be afraid to say, like, look, this isn't working. Or even if you are afraid, you can, you know, just say something like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I really have to go to the bathroom, you know, and then just at all points stop, and then move away. So I just had that thought.
But here's the thing: is people appreciate honesty. If you think about it, right, and you're like, you care about this person, whether it's as a partner or as, you know, a friend with benefits, whatever the case may be, a casual hookup that becomes a friend, whatever it is. Don't you think you would maybe it's hard to verbalize it because you're not like totally like confident or comfortable in your own skin yet. But at one point you do become that way. And I hope everybody becomes that way. But don't you think that they would receive like feedback like, hey, this isn't, working, and I like this, or try this, do this, rather than like, if you become friends and be like, you know what? Yeah, when we fucked, I faked it. It was so bad. That will hurt them too, So
again, like I think it depends on the situation and the partner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like what
if you have
situation
chemistry
are
with your
you
partner.
in?
That sort of partnership.
Yeah.
If it's worth it, you're going to communicate. If it's not, I'm out.
Yeah.
No is a complete sentence.
Exactly.
We're good. Bye.
Right.
I know. So on Hello Vulva, they actually have a post that says, stop faking your orgasms. And if you guys have followed our podcast, we actually had Dr. Melanie on a few episodes ago, who is like vulva health and sexual wellness from Canada. And they actually did a post that said, stop faking your orgasms, ways to end sex instead of fake orgasms. Number 1, that was amazing. I'm good now. 2, I'm almost ready to stop. Are you satisfied? 3, can we cuddle? I don't know how I feel about that one. If you're not giving me an orgasm, I'm definitely not cuddling with you. And I'm not a cuddler. Sort of, kind of. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4, I really liked blank. We should do that again next time. And 5, I'm not going to come, but I had fun.
I like that. I like number 5. That's good.
I can agree with 5, but like there's 3 out of the 5 that focused like on them or your partner. Yeah, like finishing and making sure like they do. So while you're being selfless, but like they're not, like it's not really fair. And then I think number 3, that was 1, 2, and 4. Number 3 was like, can we cuddle? No, if I'm not enjoying this, or I mean, I guess maybe because if you have a partner and you're just not
with you. Get out of my house. I want to watch Netflix and eat popcorn later.
And chill by myself. And then number 5.
Call my girlfriends and talk about what a shitty lover you are.
What if number 5? Like, what if it wasn't fun? What's wrong with saying this is not working? No, we need to stop. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
I
could understand like from the aspect of if you, maybe it's your boyfriend, your girlfriend, you're in a relationship with them and they're in the mood and maybe you're not so much, but you try to be in the mood, but it's just not working and you don't want to say something mean in that aspect. So with number 3, I believe it was in the aspect of cuddling or some of those other ones of like, I hope you had a good time. Like it's not going to happen for me. I could see that in that aspect.
I think it depends on who the
audience is. If you're truly
is.
not in the mood with your partner, like you should be able to be honest and be like, honey, I'm not right now. And they should be respectful and have to feel forced to give yourself.
I'm curious about it because I feel, and I don't know, but I feel that there are probably a lot of women in marriages that fake their orgasms because it is an expectation to have sex with your partner 3, 4, 5, whatever, one time a week, like whatever that schedule is. And they just feel that is like their wifely or partner duty to do so.
Well, 50% of this meeting or this call is married. So let's hear it from the
exactly.
No, I could totally speak to that. My husband does not, he's okay if I don't orgasm. If he needs it and I don't, I still share my body with him. I love him so much and I may not be in the mood, but shoot, I'll do it with him even when I'm not in the mood. And I'll be like, you go ahead, sweetheart. Like, yes, here I am. I love you so much. Have my body. I'm not going to come today, but go ahead. And that works for us, and there are times where I'm so tired or I've had a bad day or whatever. And he's like, okay, we don't. But 90% of the time, he's in the mood more than I am. And I give him my body because I love him. And that it works for us, so. And I don't know
he can read your body. And if he really had a bad day, he's like, don't worry, honey.
Yeah, exactly.
That reads your energy.
It's really about, it is. And it's about, and it's all about verbal communication because I can't read his mind and he can't read mine. So you got to practice, these statements and these conversations with each other to really get it down.
Yeah. And the aspect of marriage, I think that being able to have those conversations and being okay, you do have to get to that point by communicating. Me and my husband, we say all the time that communication is the biggest thing in a marriage. So for us, we actually kind of find it as a little bit as a game, but we like to keep it a little more playful and like basically whoever's going to be the winner first, meaning whoever gets the other one off first. And for
That's
me,
cute. I love that.
so for me, like if there's times where he like 5 orgasms in and he's still going and I'm like, oh, I'm like, what the heck? And so for me, like, it's my mission and my goal to get the job done. So and that spices it up and makes things a little more interesting, because then you do start to get creative. Like, okay, maybe this position that we've been enjoying for, I don't know, the last month isn't really working tonight or today.
Right.
Let's try something else, and maybe it's a different room or like whatever. There's essentially endless opportunities when it comes to that. So.
And if you do have an established sexual partner and you do lose your mojo, because that happens, I talked to some of my girlfriends who are wives as well, and they're like, I lost my mojo, dude. I don't know what the fuck. And so it happened to me. So I'm like, all right, let's go do it in the car in a park. And I got my mojo back. Windows open, boobs against the, I mean, like no holds barred. It is the most exciting thing to have sex in a public place. And it's nighttime and there's no one around. We're not exhibitionists by any means, but it's so exciting. So if you get to a place in your, in your sexual partnership where you kind of lose your mojo, just try different things, like get creative, so my advice.
How many people here have had sex in a public place? Raise your hand.
Oh, yeah.
Many times.
That spontaneity, though, I think men really...
It's so fun.
It is fun.
Yeah,
and when you kind of have that little spiciness inside of you that you're kind of like, hey, let's do this. They're kind of like, whoa, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
They love it. At least my husband loves it.
Yeah.
So I think the moral of the story is don't sell yourself short, respect yourself, honor yourself, right? Don't suppress yourself. And, I've said this, on our retreat here, and I've talked about this with other friends of mine, like we are so vulnerable as women to give our bodies to a man. Like you guys literally get to be inside of us. Like you get to penetrate us. This is like a big deal. And you guys have to do a really good job to make sure that we are like ready and prepped and we are going to be taken care of. I don't think that men truly understand like what a vulnerable space that is to be in.
Yeah. Yeah, because what we talked about in that same conversation, how men are so driven by it. Like that is their North Star, I feel like.
Spread their seed.
It is, you know what I mean? So that's why humanity's lasted as long as it has. Because if it was up to a woman, at least a 20-year-old woman, she'd have faked it and humanity would have died off ages ago.
Oh my God.
So true, Erin.
So stop faking your orgasms. I will never do that again. I promise I will never. Listen, I'm recently single.
You're worth
this is
more.
Like
you deserve
new
one.
To me. Yes. And I have to say, I have to give a shout out to one of my new girlfriends that I met on my trip, because I was like, maybe it just like was like jitters or something. Like maybe I should give him a second chance when he did message me back. So I surveyed my girlfriends, because this is now what I do, because I don't understand this sex game. I'm learning, but I'm not quite understanding. And one of my girlfriends came back and she was like, absolutely not. Like you are too special to give yourself to this person that like clearly wasn't in tune with you and really was in it just for himself. Like that's a hard no. And that just kind of like reopened everything for me that I've been, dealing with in therapy of like, it is a privilege to be with me. Like whether it's my friendship or whether it's my body, it is a privilege to be with me. The answer is no. Like you did not communicate with me. If you're going to take your clothes off in front of someone, there has to be some sort of communication. And if you're like, if you're not in tune or not in flow with someone. So I'm so glad that she wrote that. She was like, you're too special. Absolutely not. Do not give him a second chance. Why?
Mm-hmm. You owe him nothing.
And don't be deceived.
And if technically speaking, he owes you one. So just to be fair.
He does.
A few. More than one.
I feel like you were duped, Lua, because the man was a stallion on the dance floor. But it didn't translate into the bed.
Oh. No.
What the fuck?
At all. At all. He was very handsome.
You
like
got
he was
punked.
very handsome, but I totally got
And
punked.
that happens
But
too.
Listen,
that happens.
But it's okay because listen, God is good.
God is
it all
good.
worked out in the end.
It's good.
For another podcast, the redemption story.
Yes.
Did not translate. So any closing words?
Don't fake it. You deserve it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to speak up. Honesty.
Yep. So everybody go practice. Your homework assignment is practice.
Legit. And if this gives you guys any insight on what this podcast is going to be like for this next year, you are going to get to know us very, very well. The spice is back. We're here to have all the conversations. Send us a DM, drop us a text, like, comment, subscribe, all the things, and let us know about your experiences and if you agree with us or not. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.